Bishop Moema, pray for this country. I know we have our son, but for me, I don't give a damn whoever sits. If you don't fix economy, we chase you. That is me. If you don't touch on my life, I don't give a damn. Bishop, tunaelewana hapo kidogo.
Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. It is my hope and prayer that this video finds you well wherever you are. Someone was telling me that there is nothing good in the country, so that I should not even ask them how they are doing. But I believe that as long as we are alive, God still reigns, and by His grace we survive no matter the circumstances. Let me ask you, how would you describe the economic situation in the country? Leave alone the political situation, because that one is nondescript. The economic situation, is it good, bad? Is it at its worst state since independence? Because it is the talk of the day. What is the situation of what I call the Kenya Kwanza economy? Many people agree that the Kenya Kwanza brigade is on a very wrong trajectory. Both friends and foes believe that we are not doing well economically. But how to rectify this situation is what divides the nation. There is a clique of opinion that believes that people should wait for 2027 and unanimously vote to kick out William Ruto from the office. The opponents of this thought say that William Ruto is very crafty and that he will do everything within his reach to ensure that he is declared the winner, because already he has captured all the independent institutions. The IEBC, nitakwambia iko kwa mfuko, and of course the Supreme Court, they are friends, and so they feel that it will be an exercise in futility. The second school of thought believes that the time is now, and if it's not now, then there isn't any other time to kick William Ruto out of the office. How do you kick out a sitting president? The answer is one: a revolution. This school of thought believes that we should not wait for Raila to lead a revolution. He has done his part, and he should now let the other people to take control. Listen to the vice chair of the Jubilee party articulating what he thinks will lead to this revolution.
The only undercurrents is the grumbling on the ground. The ground is unhappy.
Which ground?
The people. I've just come from the village.
Yes.
And people can't make ends meet. These cost of living things, including things like increasing fuel, for example, the cost of electricity going up. Somebody was on TV the other day talking about how much his money can buy in terms of a token. All right? And when you are dealing with the cost of energy, the cost of power, the cost of fuel, it affects everything. It has this multiplier for transportation, for manufacturing, and therefore the cost of goods and services becomes impossible for a lot of people. And that is where people are now feeling the heat. I came this morning, there was no traffic. A lot of people have retired their cars at home. And that is the reality on the ground, city. People are now having to cut down. When you go to the supermarket, what used to fill your basket, today is like half gone. And it is like these people are insensitive to what is going on.
Who's these people?
The government. You see, some of the revolutions that happen are because the government becomes insensitive. And that is why you find we have gotten to a point where we may not even be the ones now to call for maandamano or for the revolution. It will be the people. And they will ask us to join them. Before, we were the ones asking them to come out. This time, it will be them asking us to come out. Because we have reached a point where enough is enough. And the government has to balance. These so-called structural adjustment programs, and I watched your Minister of Finance with you here yesterday, they have never worked anywhere. I saw a senator in the US talking about taxation and saying you can never tax people or tax yourself out of poverty.
And Court of Appeal said this thing is null and void. Sisi ndio tulikuwa nyuma ya hiyo kitu. So siseme tulinyamaza, tulikuwa nafanya kazi but in the back, kwa sababu sisi si watu wa siasa, hatukuwa watu wa siasa. Sasa tunazungumza kwa sababu tuko mbele, si ndio? Tuko mbele. And I'll tell you, hii kitu haitaisha leo, haitaisha leo. Vile hii watu wamefanya, they are going to cause a revolution in this country. Na musidoubt ati hatuwezi fanya hiyo kitu. Mzungu alikuwa hapa Mbeberu, alikuwa amecolonize 500 million people dunia nzima, the largest empire. Na ni hapa tu Kenya aliona vita ya ukombozi wa nchi. Mjipigie makofi. Wakati wa Moi, labda nyinyi wengine hamkuwa mmezaliwa. Wakati wa Moi ni watu wawili watatu, maximum 6, ambao walisema huyu mtu tutamuondoa, tunataka multipartyism, tumuondoe. Na wakati huo katiba ilikuwa nasema, katiba before 2010, kufikiria, si hata kusema, kufikiria ati rais hayuko kwa kiti unapelekwa jela, it is called treason. Kufikiria, si hata kusema. Na alipeleka watu wengi gerezani. Si aliondoka? Si mmoja aliondoka? Don't underestimate yourselves. Musiwe na hofu ati hatuwezi kufanya hii kitu. Hii kitu musidanganywe na mtu. Hakuna suluhu ingine, ni revolution peke yake. Revolution in thinking, revolution in strategy, na revolution kuondoa hawa watu even without an election, because people power is supreme. Musingoje mambo ya election.
What is your take on the sentiments of David Murathe? Before 2007, no one ever believed that Kenya could plunge into political unrest and people butchered each other. You know, for the first time, I think in the history of Kenya, we saw neighbors rising against each other on account of their political affiliation and tribal inclination. And people killed each other. You've seen people recounting the horrible scenes where some people were circumcised using bottles, broken bottles. Somebody was telling me something that watoto walikuwa nachinjwa. Mtu anachukua mtoto wako na anachinja. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu you belong to PNU or you belong to the ODM, you are a Kikuyu, he's a Kisii or a Luo. That was the lowest we ever condescended as a nation. But people never thought that when you don't resolve historical injustices, then people will only wait for something to trigger it, and then we are gone. And so David Murathe is saying that we are sitting on our time. If the Kenya Kwanza government is not careful, then this is going to be the beginning of a revolution. Let me tell you why I believe that there is a looming revolution. People who used to have what we call undertones, there were people who never talked about it very openly, are now coming out and they are telling people to be very ready. And they are not mincing their words. The name revolution is now very common in most of the conversations among Kenyans. And what surprises me is those who are talking about it, some of them are not even the political class, just businessmen. And as they talk about it, they tell people, they remind people of the struggles that we have gone through. They are citing how we, kicked away the colonial masters and we became independent. And they are talking about the second liberation, when people are fighting one party state. And they achieved it. And they are using that if we follow that trend, when people are determined, then we will defeat this regime. The political class is ready to lead people to the streets in the absence of Raila Amolo Odinga. And they're saying that Raila has got his right to believe that we can only remove William Ruto in 2027 because he's a Democrat. But there are people, the group that is ready to lead Wananchi, and they are saying that they are more than ready to take people back to the streets because this is the only language that the government listens to. This group includes Martha Karua, people who believe that this illegitimate, in quotes, that's what she says, this illegitimate government can only listen to demonstrations, which is enshrined in our constitution.
They are saying, should the talks fail as they are looking, they are failing.
Yes.
We shall not forgo our rights. We shall go back to the streets if necessary.
Yes.
We are going to exercise our civil, political, and human rights to the fullest. Is to give notice of intention. What the illegitimate KK regime does with that is their business. But it will become our business if the demands of Kenyans are not met.
And ladies and gentlemen, you've seen such sentiments from people like Alfred Keter from Ruto's backyard, telling them that we don't give a damn whether you are our son or not, as long as you are not performing, then you must go. And when you add to the sentiments of people like Mudhoni wa Mushomba, who once told, just recently said that if the bipartisan talks are not going to yield the 1 man, 1 shillings, 1 vote, then she's going to lead a rebellion from Mount Kenya.
Any discussion or any deliberation on the table, kama ni hiyo National Dialogue Committee ambayo inaongewa na kina Ishongwa na Kalonzo Musyoka, debate yetu ni 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. Nikaambiwa ninyamaze. Mwaka imeisha. Tumegawa basare raundi ya kwanza. Sasa tunagojea raundi ya pili. Ni haki mimi ninyamaze mkiteseka? Muteseke? Nikedroiga. Hiyo ripoti Ishongwa anataka kuleta kule bunge. Hiyo ripoti ambayo ametengeneza wakiwa na kina Kalonzo Musyoka. Kama haitakuwa na maneno ya 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, wa Mushomba anaomba ruhusa kutoka kwenu. Niangushe asubuhi na mapema. Asubuhi na wangapo.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto is staring at what you may think is a joke. But if people continue this way, he could be staring at the beginning of a revolution. The hustler nation is tired. And if that revolution would be called, and not being called by the political class, but the hustlers themselves, when they will go to the streets, I'm telling you, everyone will go to the streets. The clergy is tired, and they're the people who supported William Ruto during the campaigns. They were given money, and they said that William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua were given authority by God to lead our nation. You've seen the way Mama Mbogas are crying, and the border group. With all the lies that have been packaged, William Ruto is unlucky because people continue to unpack the lies because internet doesn't lie. He relied on the youth, but the youth are now using the internet, TikToks, to reveal his character of lying to us. Instead of facing what is really bedeviling Kenyans, they are busy blaming the previous regime, and this will not help. And as I told you, maybe when it is spoken you think that it is an imagination, but if you look, for those who were there in 2007, you will understand what I'm talking about. Kenya is taking at a bomb that is waiting to explode, or a volcano that is about to explode. And when it explodes, you and I will have nowhere to hide. And this is the reason why I'm saying that sometimes when we call on William Ruto to act upon the promises that he gave to Kenyans, many of the Kenya Kwanza apologists think that we wish that he fails. We don't want him to fail. When he fails, Kenya fails. When he succeeds, Kenya succeeds. And that is how we would really wish that he succeeds. But he is not giving us any signs and symptoms of a one who wants to succeed. Because already, if you've realized, people don't no longer talk about electoral justice. People are talking about economic justice. People have said, okay, you took it. You had the sentiments of the Kisii governor, Simbarati, telling William Ruto that ulifunga na mkono na referee akasema ni bao. Sasa endelea kuunganisha wa Kenya, endelea kufufua uchumi. But badala ya kufufua uchumi inaendelea kuzorota. It's on its knees and it's dying a natural death. How I wish that we look away from the IMF and the World Bank and all these things, because our problems emanate from Washington, D.C. I've always told you that is where we are being ruled. We are being ruled from White House. William Ruto is just a conduit being used to pass the message. So there is no any sign that things are going to change. They keep on saying, give us more time. When they have been given a little more time, the UDA brigades themselves revealed to us that they are corrupt. Recently, Nandi Senator Samso Cheragai told us that Murkomen is corrupt. Already there is a scandal that is involving the Gulf oil deal, and people have pocketed money. As a result, the other nations that depended on us to transport the oil have run away. Museveni has run away, and it seems he's rallying the other landlocked countries to follow suit. It means that apart from the fact that we have been, they have invoked a lot of punitive taxes, they still want to steal from the Kenyan taxpayers. And this is why I'm telling you that it will not be business as usual. Of course, you all know that when Raila Amolo Odinga led people to the streets, they accused him of a man who was dissatisfied and could not accept the fact that elections are over. Raila told them, okay, elections are over, let us talk. We have the boomers talks. Even that talks alone is collapsing, because the real issue, the elephant in the room, was the cost of living. They're not looking at it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there is a revolution coming. And this time round, Alfred Keter, Muthoni wa Mushomba, Martha Karua, people like Eric Omondi, the activists will all be there. The question is, will you be there? Because one thing I know, we shall overcome.